The Maha Tarpanam ritual that Pillai Center performed for me last year had such an amazing effect. So, at the end of July last year, my mother had passed away, and I was struggling. I was in kind of a very dark place. I was stressed out. I couldn't sleep. I just was not coming to terms. It was so shocking and so tragic in the way that she had passed away that it completely turned my entire world upside down. And it was extremely difficult for me to come to terms with and manage just my day-to-day life because my mother was my best friend. And so Gina, the teacher at Pillai Center, had suggested Maha Tarpanam. And I was able to get that through the help of many amazingly beautiful people. And, I ordered it, we went through everything, and I kind of just left it alone. I was in my own world. I was stressed out and struggling and didn't even think about it after that. It didn't even cross my mind. And then one night I was laying in bed and I was like, stressing and writing in my journal and doing everything I could to get my emotions and my mind under control because everything was just so frazzled. It was all over the place. And all of a sudden, I felt this amazingly transcendent feeling of peace. And during that time, it was very apparent because I hadn't felt that peace for a long time. It was so prominent, and I just sat there and thought, well, that's weird. I couldn't understand why. I had just had an overall sense of calm and peace and just general bliss in the hardest time in my life. I thought it was really weird, really strange. And then I had woken up the next day, and I thought about it after I woke up. I said, last night was really weird, honey. And I was telling my husband, like, it was peaceful, and it didn't make sense because everything around me was so hard and so chaotic. And so I'm getting ready to start my day at work, and I check my email, and I had gotten an email from Pillai Center that said my service was performed, and it all clicked. It was like that was the moment that my mother's spirit was no longer bound to this realm. She moved on to the higher realms, and the comfort that you get just from knowing that Ply Center can help you with that is great. But when you actually physically feel that sense of peace, and your loved one is departing and they're going to that higher realm, and they leave you with this overall sense of calm and rightness, is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me with any of the rituals that I've done. I do a lot of Ply Center rituals and programs. I absolutely love Babaji and everything he has to offer and his mission and everything. But this one service changed my entire life because I could not crawl out of that hole. And just that sense of peace helped me get back to who I was, be able to come to terms with, losing my mother so suddenly, and, allowed me to feel a sense of peace, to get back into my meditation routine, to get back into my life to where I could start to move on. So it's, your family has to move on, or your departed loved ones, they need to move on in order for you to move on. So I definitely recommend doing Tarpanam, you know, every day if you can. And then in addition to that, if you have a loved one that has passed away, the Maha Tarpanam service that they offer through Pillai Center that's solely specific for your departed loved one is the number one thing you need to do. It changed my life on so many levels, and I think everybody should benefit from it. It's very enlightening and very, very heartfelt. You feel it in your heart, and it's almost like that goodbye. You get that chance for a final goodbye, especially if it's a sudden departure. Um, you can feel them moving on, and they want you to feel peace once they move to those higher realms.